All right, let's dive into Shanghai. Not just as tourists, though. We're talking about living there as an expat, using these really cool insights we got from moveandstay.com.
Oh, yeah, they've been around forever.
Yeah, like over 25 years. They help people find a place in Asia. Could be an apartment, could be a place to work for a day, a week, a month, whatever you need.
It's wild how many different types of expats end up in Shanghai. I mean, you could be there for the huge skyscrapers in Pudong or those historic little lanes in the former French Concession.
Right. It's a whole mix. I know our listeners thinking about maybe calling Shanghai home. And honestly, finding the right neighborhood is so important. What are the big things they should consider before even thinking about specific areas?
Well, first you got to think about what you want your life to be like there. Are you, a young professional? Maybe you want a really exciting social scene. Or are you thinking more about family life? Good schools, parks and stuff.
Makes sense. Lifestyle is key. But like no matter how cool a place is, it won't work if it takes you 2 hours to get to work every day.
You're telling me location, 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 work is a big one. And then, oh, the budget too, right?
Oh, for sure.
Shanghai has places for every budget. But you got to know which areas fit yours.
Okay, I'm ready for this tour. Let's start with a name I've heard a lot. Pudong. That's like the Manhattan of Shanghai.
Yeah, like stepping out your door and bam, those skyline views. Oriental Pearl Tower, basically in your backyard. Pudong, especially the spot called Xuhui, it's where the finance people go.
High energy.
Yeah.
Got it. What about someone who wants a little of everything? Modern and traditional. Where would they feel at home?
Jing'an district. It's a great mix. You could have these super fancy shops right next to traditional tea houses, crazy nightlife, but then also peaceful spots like Jing'an Temple right in the middle of it all. Michelin star restaurants next to a place selling noodles for like $2.
I like the sound of that mix. But I'm guessing Jing'an isn't exactly easy on the wallet.
Yeah, probably not the cheapest. But hey, even if you don't live there, go spend an afternoon shopping or grab some food. It's worth it. Speaking of history, we got to mention the former French Concession.
The FFC, right. Okay, I'm picturing tree-lined streets, maybe a European feel.
Bingo. The FFC is all about beautiful buildings. They've got these renovated lane houses and these little alleys. It's like stepping back in time. Art galleries, cozy cafes. It's slower paced. A lot of people who want that different side of Shanghai end up there.
Those lane houses sound so unique. Like, what are they like inside?
They're amazing. Traditional Chinese architecture, but with modern updates. Old and new at the same time.
I love that. Okay, let's say our listener wants a quieter life, more residential, maybe with some other expats around.
Ooh, good point.
What about families? Where would you send them?
Xuhui district, without a doubt. It's popular with families. It's peaceful, lots of trees, but still easy to get to other parts of the city. And a big, plus tons of good international schools.
Oh, right. And if I remember correctly, the FFC is part of Xuhui, right? So you could have that history and family stuff all in one.
Exactly. Now, if your priority is easy travel, especially if you're flying back home a lot, then Hongqiao is the spot for you.
Hongqiao, yeah, that's where one of the airports is, right?
Yep, and a main train station. Domestic flights, international, it's all there. Perfect for families that are always on the go. And they have a good number of those international schools, too.
Okay, so Xuhui has that peaceful FSC charm. Hongqiao's got the travel perks. Any other good spots for families?
One that people don't always think of but is really interesting is Minhang District. It's farther away from downtown, so it's got that suburban feel. Wider streets, everything's a little more relaxed.
More space, less hustle and bustle. I'm starting to see the appeal. What about housing in Minhang? What's it like?
It's a good mix. Apartments, some houses, even villas, and you get more for your money compared to those expensive central spots.
All right, so we've got areas for professionals, for families. What about the people who want a truly suburban life, like that small town feel?
Yeah.
Does Shanghai even have that?
It does. We got to go further out to what moveandstay.com calls like the expat favorite suburbs.
I'm intrigued. Where are we going first?
Jingqiao in Pudong. They call it a mini international neighborhood. Big houses, lots of villas, and everyone knows each other.
Sounds so peaceful. Is it mostly families in Jingqiao?
Lots of families, yeah. Especially the ones who want more space and that close community. Plus a good number of international schools, too.
So Jingqiao has the space, the community, the schools. What's next?
Gubei. It's in Changning District. What's cool about Gubei is that it was one of the first expat areas in Shanghai.
I love that. A history of welcoming international people. What about housing there?
It's a mix. You got these older apartments with a lot of character, and then the newer high-rises, too. And it's well connected to downtown by metro.
A mix of housing, diverse people, good transportation. Gubei's got a lot going on. What's our last stop?
Kankiao, in the south of Pudong. It's still kind of up and coming, still developing, but people who want something a little different, a little off the beaten path, they're starting to go there.
Oh, I always like finding those hidden gems. What's the vibe like?
More rural compared to the other suburbs, more spread out, modern apartments, traditional houses. It's a mix.
So good for space lovers and peace seekers.
For sure. And like Jing'an and Gubei, Kankao's got some international schools too, good for families.
This is great. We went from the middle of Pudong to those quiet suburbs. I'm already feeling more confident about Shanghai. But we got to talk about safety. Is Shanghai safe for expats?
It's a big question. Generally, yes, Shanghai is pretty safe, safer than a lot of big cities, actually.
Mm.
But you always gotta be aware and take some basic precautions.
Makes sense. What kind of precautions?
Just the usual stuff. Pay attention, especially when it's crowded. Don't walk around alone late at night, especially if it's dark. Don't show off expensive stuff, jewelry, phones, whatever.
Right. Good advice anywhere. What about scams? Anything expats should know about in Shanghai?
MoveAndStay.com warns about scams that target tourists, especially in places like Nanjing Road and the Bund. Those areas are so packed with people, it makes it easier for scammers.
What kind of scams?
The usual stuff. People trying to give you tours you didn't ask for, fake things, knockoff stuff. Or sometimes it's just super friendly strangers who try to distract you. The whole too good to be true situation.
Always better to be safe than sorry. If something feels wrong, it probably is. Trust your gut. Any other Shanghai safety tips?
Yeah, be careful at ATMs, especially at night. Cover the keypad when you're typing your PIN, and watch out for anyone standing too close.
Easy to forget stuff like that when you're excited to be somewhere new. Any other precautions?
Learning a little Chinese, even a few words, can be a lifesaver. Asking for help, directions, it makes a difference.
Such a good point. Even a few words helps build confidence and lets you connect with the locals a little bit. Speaking of connecting, let's talk about getting around this huge city. Shanghai's public transport is supposed to be amazing, right?
Oh, it's unbelievable. The Shanghai Metro is a well-oiled machine. The city is serious about transportation.
Okay, tell me everything. What makes it so special?
First, it goes everywhere. Literally, it covers the entire city, even the far-out neighborhoods.
So I could live anywhere and still have decent metro access.
Pretty much. The trains are nice too, modern, clean, and they have AC, which is a godsend in Shanghai's summer.
Sounds like a dream.
Mm.
Is it easy to figure out if you don't speak Chinese?
Super easy. The whole system is designed for anyone to use. The lines have different colors, and everything's written in Chinese and English.
Thank goodness I don't have to worry about getting lost in translation. What about paying?
You can get one of those transport cards. You just add money to it or even pay with your phone. It's so easy.
I'm convinced the metro's amazing. What about the airports? There are two, right?
Yeah. Pudong International Airport, PVG, that's for most of the international flights. And then Hongqiao International Airport, SHA, that's closer to downtown, more for domestic flights.
So, coming in from overseas, I'd probably land at Pudong. What are my options from there?
If you want speed, the maglev train. It's a magnetic levitation train, gets you into the city in minutes.
A maglev train. Sounds futuristic.
It's a wild ride. If
Yeah.
you want something more normal, you got Metro Line 2 or there are airport buses. Taxis are always an option too, but they can be pricey.
Got it. What about getting to Hongqiao?
Hongqiao's a breeze. You can take the metro, lines 2 and 10 both go there, or there are a bunch of bus routes too.
So no matter which airport, getting in and out of the city is pretty simple. But what about within the city? Does the public transport change depending on the neighborhood?
It does a little, yeah. Some areas have better metro access than others. Pudong, especially around Xuhui, the metro's great there. Same with Jing'an. There's a ton of lines that intersect there.
And those other spots we talked about, Xuhui, Minhang.
Xuhui's a good mix of metro and buses. Minhang, being further out, you might be relying on buses or taxis more. It depends where in the district you are.
Okay, so factoring in transportation is important when you're picking a neighborhood, especially if you're using public transport. But overall, it sounds like Shanghai's public transport is a big win for expats. Affordable, efficient, and always growing. Gets you around this massive city pretty easily.
For sure. All right, I know we cover a lot of practical stuff, but you gotta have some fun too, right? What's Shanghai like for entertainment and culture?
Yeah, Shanghai's a city that comes alive at night. There's so much going on, something for everyone.
Let's start with Xuhui. If you like food and shopping, it's the spot. You got everything from hip cafes to those fancy Michelin star restaurants, plus all kinds of shops, designer stuff to local crafts, you name it.
So if I want a casual bite or a fancy meal, I'm good in Xuhui.
You're set. But if you're looking for something a little more, let's say, energetic, Jing'an is the place to be. It's known for its nightlife, all the bars and clubs, live music, it's all there.
That's where I'd be after a long week. What about the culture stuff? The art, the history, where do we go for that?
Huangpu, that's the historic center. It's where you find those iconic places, like the Bund and Nanjing Road, plus museums, theaters, those traditional tea houses.
Wow, a total mix. Any insider tips for exploring Huangpu?
Just know that places like East Nanjing Road can be packed, especially when it's tourist season. If you want something more chill, get off the main road, explore those smaller streets.
Good to know. I always appreciate those local tips. Helps avoid the tourist traps. What else should our listener know about Huangpu?
Remember, Shanghai is a city you gotta walk. Don't be afraid to get a little lost. See where you end up. You'll find some amazing stuff that way.
Absolutely. We covered so much today, from neighborhoods to culture. This deep dive has been awesome. What else should we talk about before we wrap up part one?
Well, we talked about where to live, safety, transport, all the fun stuff. But there's one big thing we haven't gotten to yet. Work.
Oh, you're right. For a lot of expats, finding a good job is a big part of the whole Shanghai experience. What's the job market like? What industries are doing well? And what's it like getting a work visa?
Great questions. Part 2 is all about working in Shanghai. We'll talk about all that, give some advice for anyone who wants to build a career in this crazy, awesome city. Come back and we'll explore the opportunities and the challenges, everything you need to know. Welcome back to the deep dive. It's crazy how much we covered in part 1, from the financial center of Pudong to those quiet suburbs.
Right, we basically toured the whole city just talking.
Yeah.
But I'm kind of craving something a little more experiential, you know. Let's talk about what makes Shanghai come alive.
I like it. Shanghai is a feast for the senses. We can't forget about the culture, the history, all that good stuff.
So where should we start? What's at the top of the list for an expat in Shanghai?
Let's start with something that's both an art and a way of life.
Tea.
Tea. I was wondering when we'd get to this. It's such a big part of Chinese culture, but I have to admit, I don't know much about it.
No problem. We'll learn together.
Yeah.
The cool thing about tea in Shanghai is that it's not just a drink, it's an experience. It's about slowing down, enjoying the moment, connecting with people. I love that. So where do you go for that authentic tea experience in Shanghai?
Well, you have a few options. You could try a traditional tea house, sample different types of tea, learn how they prepare it. Some of them have been around forever, hidden away in those little alleys or historic districts.
I love the idea of finding a secret tea house. Any other options for a tea adventure?
If you want something more modern, there are these trendy tea shops popping up everywhere. They have cool tea blends, creative presentations, tea lattes, tea cocktails, even tea-infused desserts.
Okay, now I'm interested. Tea lover or total newbie, Shanghai has something for everyone. What's next on our cultural tour?
Let's talk art. Shanghai has a huge art scene. They mix traditional Chinese art with more modern stuff. It's really cool.
I've heard Shanghai is becoming a center for contemporary art. Is that true?
Totally. You'll find these amazing galleries with cutting-edge pieces, both Chinese and international artists.
Any specific galleries or art areas we should check out?
M50 district, for sure. It used to be an industrial area, but now it's an art hub. Studios, galleries, cafes, all in these converted warehouses.
Sounds like a creative paradise. What about museums? Any must-sees for art lovers?
The power station of art is incredible. It's in an old power plant, and they have some of the most exciting contemporary art exhibitions in the city.
Okay, that's going on the list. What about more traditional Chinese art? Where can we find that in Shanghai?
The Shanghai Museum is amazing. They have a huge collection of Chinese art and artifacts, stuff from thousands of years ago. It's like traveling through history.
Wow, that's definitely going on the itinerary. Any other hidden art gems you can tell us about?
Keep your eyes open for those small, independent galleries. They're tucked away in different neighborhoods. You never know what you'll find.
I love that. This is amazing. I'm already feeling inspired by Shanghai's art scene. But we can't talk about culture without talking about food. What culinary delights await us in this global city?
Oh man, get ready for a culinary adventure. Shanghai is heaven for food lovers. They have so many flavors and cuisines, it's unbelievable.
I'm ready to dive in. What dishes do I absolutely have to try in Shanghai?
You gotta try jiaolongbao. They're these steamed soup dumplings filled with a delicious pork broth. They're a Shanghai classic. You won't regret it.
Soup dumplings. That sounds interesting. Definitely trying those.
Oh.
What else?
Another local favorite is shenjinbao. Pan-fried pork buns, crispy on the bottom, juicy on the inside. So good.
My mouth's watering already. Where can we find the best versions of these Shanghai specialties?
Honestly, you'll find them everywhere. Street vendors, tiny hole-in-the-wall places, they're all over the city. Part of the fun is finding that perfect street food experience.
Oh, I love that. But what if we want a fancier dining experience?
Shanghai has an incredible fine dining scene, too. Michelin-starred restaurants, cuisines from all over the world, you name it.
So if I'm craving Italian, French, Japanese, whatever, I can find it in Shanghai.
Absolutely. And if you want a truly local experience, tons of traditional Shanghainese restaurants serving classic dishes.
It sounds like Shanghai has something for everyone, no matter what you're in the mood for. What else makes dining in Shanghai special?
Beyond the food itself, it's the energy, the atmosphere. People in Shanghai love to eat. It's contagious. It's about connecting with friends, family, even strangers over a shared love of good food.
I could already picture it, lively conversations, clinking glasses, the smell of amazing food everywhere. It's an experience in itself.
Exactly. Okay, tea, art, food check. What other sensory delights should we add to our Shanghai itinerary?
Well, Shanghai comes alive at night, so we have to talk about nightlife. I've heard stories about Shanghai's nightlife. What can expats expect?
Buckle up. It's a wild and diverse scene. There's something for everyone. Cool cocktail bars, underground clubs, live music, rooftop terraces with amazing city views.
Sounds like a city that knows how to have a good time. Any specific areas or venues we should check out?
The Bund is iconic. Glamorous bars and clubs, stunning views of the skyline. Imagine having a drink with those twinkling city lights as your backdrop. It's magical.
Okay, the Bund at night. That's
Mhm.
definitely going on my Instagram. What about something more low-key?
If you're looking for something more relaxed, the former French Concession has a ton of cozy bars and pubs. Perfect for a chill night out with friends.
Love it. So whether you're a party animal or a cocktail connoisseur, Shanghai's got you covered. What makes Shanghai's nightlife so unique?
Besides the venues themselves, it's the energy, the diversity. People from all walks of life come together to celebrate. It's about being present, connecting with people, whether you're dancing all night or just having a quiet conversation over a glass of wine.
I love that. Okay, we've covered tea ceremonies, art galleries, culinary adventures, and even the buzzing nightlife. It seems like Shanghai really offers a full sensory experience for expats.
It does, but even beyond all that, there's something magical about just wandering around Shanghai, taking in the sights, the sounds, the smells.
I can imagine. Getting lost in those alleyways, finding those hidden courtyards, stumbling upon a local market.
Exactly. Shanghai rewards the curious. If you're open to new experiences and a little bit adventurous, you'll have an amazing time.
This deep dive into Shanghai's culture has been incredible. I'm so energized. I want to experience it all firsthand. But before we get too carried away, there's one more practical thing we need to talk about.
Yeah.
Work.
Right. We talked about where to live, safety, getting around, all the fun stuff. But we need to talk about the thing that makes it all possible. Work. Let's talk about the job market in Shanghai for expats. What industries are booming? What skills are in high demand? What's it like getting a work visa?
Such good points. In part 3, we'll dive into working in Shanghai. We'll give advice for expats who want to build a career in this dynamic city. Join us as we explore the opportunities and the challenges. Everything you need to know. Welcome back to the Deep Dive. We've explored Shanghai's neighborhoods, figured out how to get around, and even dove into the amazing culture. But now let's get serious. It's time to talk about work.
Yeah, for a lot of expats, finding a great job, a job they actually like, that's a huge part of the whole Shanghai experience.
Okay, so let's talk about the job market. What's it like in Shanghai for expats? Is it super competitive?
Well, Shanghai is like this global economic machine, so naturally it attracts the best people from everywhere. There's definitely competition, but that also means tons of opportunities.
That makes sense. So which industries are really hot right now? Where are expats going to find those amazing jobs?
Finance is always big in Shanghai. It's a massive financial hub, tons of banks, both Chinese and international investment firms, insurance companies, you name it. If you have a finance background, Shanghai could be a really good place to grow your career.
Finance, yeah, with Shanghai's global status, that makes sense. What other industries are bringing in expats?
Tech is exploding right now. So many startups, plus those huge tech companies, are setting up shop in Shanghai. It's a really exciting time to be part of that scene. Things are moving so fast.
Tech, finance. What about something different? Any other expat-friendly industries?
Education is another good one. International schools always need good teachers, and the demand for English teachers is growing too.
That's great to hear. So there are opportunities for different skills and backgrounds, which is awesome. But let's talk about the practical side of things. What about work visas? What's that process like for expats in Shanghai?
That's a big one, and definitely don't wait until the last minute to figure it out. The process can be complicated, so being prepared is really important.
Okay, let's break it down. What are the steps for getting a work visa in Shanghai?
First, you need a job offer. Has to be from a company that can legally hire foreigners. No job offer, no visa. Simple as that.
Makes sense. So finding the right employer is key. Then what?
Once you have the offer, the company applies for a work permit for you. You'll need a bunch of documents, passport, degree certificates, health check, all that stuff. And the rules can change, so make sure you're up to date with the latest requirements.
Sounds like it would be helpful to have some expert guidance to navigate all that.
Definitely. There are agencies that specialize in helping expats get work visas. They can help you get all the right documents, understand what's needed, avoid any problems. It takes a lot of stress off your shoulders.
Glad to know there's help out there.
Yeah.
So let's say we've got the dream job, we have our work visa, we're in Shanghai, ready to go. What's the work culture actually like?
hmm
Any tips for expats who are new to this professional environment?
It's important to remember that Chinese work culture can be pretty different from what you're used to. For example, hierarchy is very important in Chinese companies. Respecting authority, understanding your place within the structure, that's crucial.
That's interesting. So being mindful of those dynamics is important. Any other cultural things we should know about?
Building relationships, that's really important too. Chinese business culture is very relationship focused. Taking the time to get to know your colleagues, your clients, not just on a professional level, that builds trust and makes things go a lot smoother.
It's not just about business, it's about building those genuine connections. What about work-life balance? What's
Whoa.
that like in Shanghai?
Be ready to work hard. Long hours are normal in Shanghai's competitive work environment, but all that hard work usually comes with opportunities for growth and development. It's a city where you can really push yourself, learn new things, and grow your career.
So you work hard, but there are rewards too.
For sure, Shanghai's all about ambition and hard work.
Well, this whole deep dive into Shanghai has been so eye-opening. We've learned so much from the different neighborhoods and exciting culture to the career opportunities. It really feels like a city where anything is possible.
It's been an incredible journey. What I love about Shanghai is that it's always pushing boundaries. They love innovation, and it's such a unique mix of East and West, old and new.
Yeah, it can feel overwhelming at first, but if you do your research and you're open to new things and not afraid to take a chance, Shanghai can be a really rewarding place to live and work.
I totally agree. It's a city that pushes you, inspires you, and in the end, it changes you.
So for our listeners who are thinking about Shanghai, what's our last piece of advice?
Do your research, be open to new experiences, and don't be afraid to go for it. Shanghai is a city that rewards the people who are brave enough to embrace its energy and diversity.
That's a great way to put it. And who knows, maybe one day you'll find yourself walking along the Bund Xiaolongbao in hand, ready to write your own Shanghai story.
Until then, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep diving deep.
This is The Deep Dive, signing off. Thanks for joining us.